Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the TFC YouTube channel, where today we will be discussing the European Super League and what that means for football and our general thoughts around the matter. This is a huge thing for football in general. Many people are saying it's the death of football, and about one person out of the 7.8 billion in the world actually thinks it's a good idea. So it's a very I wouldn't say it's mixed opinions. Wouldn't say it's mixed opinions on this whole thing, but we're gonna still give our say about it, and just some of the things that maybe even you don't know about the European Super League. But there are I think a lot of people don't want it to happen, but they have different reasons. And obviously, yeah. So today's video will include our opinions on it and some of the things that you might not know about the European Super League. So hopefully you do going to enjoy. If you're a football fan or a TFC fan, you really make sure to watch this one to the end, because it's a serious matter and could change football in the future for so many years to come in our lifetime. So yeah, Mr. Chancellor 11, Jack, he knows more about the ESL than me. He stayed up till midnight last night, keeping updated with all the news. I wasn't really fully clued up with the whole thing until recently. This morning, I originally kind of read up about it. But yeah, you probably know more of the ins and outs, and you've got constant updates to do with the club. So, Jack, I mean, you can obviously give some of your main opinions and some of the things that maybe people don't realise with the whole ESL.
My opinion, I mean, obviously, like everyone else that isn't a billionaire owner, I think this is a fucking stupid idea. There's no other way of putting it. It just is. It's so greedy from the owners.
It may be worth saying that this isn't going to be a very PG episode. There are some strong opinions amongst this call that will be distributed today. So you know, excuse Jack's language, but yeah, I think many people are absolutely outraged by this whole thing.
It's just mental.
I've seen scenes from AFTV, Mark Goldbridge, and they all are saying the same thing, that it's a disgrace and that it's very much. Some people are even saying it's almost like football clubs are selling their fans. It's like the fans clearly don't want it. The only reason they're doing it is for the money. It's so obvious. The clubs are even like, well, not saying it directly themselves, but they kind of let's face it, there's no reason for any of the clubs to really sign this unless they went, here's 3.5 billion. I think that,
the 3.5 billion is a big sway.
Yeah, that's the reason why a lot of clubs will take it. There will be still clubs that would have signed that, but
the guarantee of the payments every year to keep them in a good financial position, along with the fact they can't get relegated as a founding club, is a massive proposition that I guess is very difficult for certain clubs to turn down. I mean, clubs like Barcelona, who have 1 billion euros in debt at the moment, that's a massive change to suddenly be 2.5 billion in the clear.
It's just making the richer clubs richer, in a sense. I've also seen quotes coming, and it's been a thing for a while now, but this is really the thing. It's been ready. Let's face it, money is at the heart of everything bad in football, or most things bad in football. There's so much money in the game now, and yes, money's brought good things, but it also does bring a lot of bad things. You know, there's a lot of greed in football now, and with the European Super League, it's really been highlighted.
Yeah, it's just a display of the owners' lack of caring about the fans and the clubs, and that all they care about is money. And
the owners don't care about the clubs, and I saw exactly the same thing. Don Robbie say the same thing from AFTV. The owners don't care about the fans. They don't care about the club. They don't care. You know, the Abrahamovic doesn't care that, you know, doesn't care about the fans. The same as Daniel Levy doesn't care about the fans.
I think Abrahamovic is a poor example, though. I think to Abrahamovic, to what I've seen from certain journalists on Twitter and on other sources and that, is that Abrahamovic and Sheik Mansour, Chelsea and City's owners, were more reluctant to sign the deal.
But that is because they have so much money. I think that is partly because
they're in the best position, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you'd ask me who are the two best clubs in Europe right now, based on form, you'd have to say Man City and Chelsea.
But
They've
then
got the
if you were
most
to
money
also
and they're
say,
playing the
yeah,
best football.
they've got the most money, and that is the thing. It's come down to that. The top team, let's say the winner of this European Super League, if and when it gets introduced, the winner of that will probably be the richest club. And they'll give you more money, the prize money. They'll have so much more money. They'll go and buy the Haalands, the Mbappes, and they'll win it for 10 years in the future. They will win it back to back to back to back. And it's just making the richer teams richer. And it's just greed. Let's face it. It's just that it's the core. Money has caused all of this. Football was created by the poor. Another quote that I've seen as being spread around. It was created by the poor and stolen by the rich. It is just a load of greed. If there wasn't so much money in football, I don't think this would happen. But then I think it was an American. Was it who exactly is at the head of this initiative? Who invested in this? I think it was American.
So it's a company known as JP Morgan. They're the ones paying these 3.5 billion.
Is it an American
fees.
banking company or something, or is that incorrect?
Something like I don't know the exact much about the company. All I know is it is JP Morgan. They're the ones paying for the 400 mil up
well,
front.
Morgan, screw you, lad. I don't like you, Morgan. I will have a scrap with Morgan. Can we get some hate for JP Morgan in the comment section down below? This is the only time I'll ever ask for hate. But I think it's important that the fans have their say on this. It's important that even people, you know, if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a platform on social medias, and you want to say stuff about this and say your opinions about this, it's important that the fans really are heard loud and clear, because I genuinely don't think if the fans didn't really they didn't, you know, make these tweets, these Instagram posts saying this is outrageous, I think it would probably it would increase the chance of it happening. But with these fans fighting back in many ways,
I don't see a way that this doesn't happen. I think the best thing we can hope for now is that they're allowed to play internationally. That's going to be a big kicker.
Yes,
if they can't play internationally, there's a chance that it won't go ahead. But I think UEFA might go back on that decision. But I don't know. I think hopefully they stand firm on that decision and don't let these Super League clubs run all over them. But it is very annoying to see that
national football
that's the one thing we're relying on.
The national football would obviously, that would be over for national football. Well, not over, but it would be.
Domestic football would still be fine. If anything, domestic football would be incredibly competitive. You're going to have a very good title race next year, no matter because these 6 clubs are gone. You're going to have, well, I'm talking England strictly at the moment, but you've got Leicester, West Ham, Everton, Southampton, Wolves, Villa, all these kind of clubs that you would never expect to be up there.
I mean, I think I saw a post earlier today with the top 6 and who the top 6 would be. You've got the likes of Aston Villa, obviously Leicester, who's already part of the top 6 at the moment. I guess you could say.
Not that's big 6, hasn't it?
Well, not the big. So the top 6 is like the top 6 in the Premier at the moment. Big 6 is, I guess you could say, is the more financially big.
Most reputable clubs, most well-known clubs.
Yeah.
Best stature in the game.
But once again, it is to do with money. Let's face it, the bigger clubs are the clubs with more money. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Because
they've got past success, which is giving them money, giving them fans, which bring in revenue, which brings in shirt sales, all that kind of stuff.
At the end of the day, going back to what I said earlier, it's going to be truly making the rich teams richer. The people that win that European Super League, we've seen it with the Premier League, we've seen it with other leagues across the world, that when that rich team win that league, they tend to go and win it a few times over and over again. And if that's happening in the European Super League with these massive clubs,
I don't think that would happen. Unless someone gets Haaland and Mbappe.
It would be less likely to happen, granted, yeah. But the worry, if that was to happen, would be, it would be so different. And yes, football will be, I was going to say football will be football, but at the end of the day, many people will say football won't be football again. with this. Many people will say, "Oh, well, it's still football. The core part of football is still here."
I think it will have a major impact, but
Yeah,
I think people are overreacting when they say football is over.
yeah.
Like there will still be the Premier League just
Hmm.
because the biggest 6 clubs are gone. Like I think players will realize some very good players will leave these big clubs and go to these smaller clubs, therefore making them the bigger clubs.
Hmm.
I think the one problem the Super League might have is they're saying the top 5 leagues, the winner automatically goes into this Super League thing and then comes out the next year. Well, why would these teams
Hmm.
agree to
That is
go
a
into the
bit.
Super League? No, they're only going to get a season of it, and there's no way they can
It
stay
makes
up in it.
there's so many things with this league that
It just
makes
seems really
no
odd.
sense to. Yeah, it's a prime example. Why would
They don't even
why
have
they
the
want?
they don't
It's
even,
just
they
like
don't even have the
here's
initial
a
structure
taste of
in
the
place.
best. They're gonna go, here's a taste of the best. The odds are you're probably gonna be in the bottom three of in that league, in the
Doesn't matter
European
though.
Super League.
They'll get relegated anyway because it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. The fat uh, uh, 15 clubs that found it will never be relegated, which is
yeah.
just there's no competitiveness there. There's no competition.
There's
Nothing
no
happens.
competition
If you
because
can't
unless you're
lose,
going,
if there's no
yeah,
big failures, then what's the point?
unless you're the very top of the best of the best, like the top three teams in the world, and you're pushing for first, what are the other teams pushing for? What's the initiative? Yes, to place higher, but like you're not going to get
No, they have
relegated.
the whole competition. Like it goes from league, then the top 3 go into the quarters and stuff, and then the 5th and 6th place fight for another place in there.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's a whole court of it's literally just the Champions League, but instead of having loads of groups at the start and anyone can qualify for it, it's the 15 richest clubs in the world are all guaranteed, and then you'll bring in 5 clubs that won't be able to compete with it.
Apologies for the lag there. We have returned. The European Super League are trying to stop us, Jack. They're attempting to.
Shut
They've
us
got
down.
the red dots on our head. They're trying to take us down. They're trying to stop us football supporters from having our say. But on a serious note, we'll go back into the fans' reaction on that note. I think the fans' reaction is big for letting clubs. As much as you said that you can't see it not happening. I think the only way that it's
It's
not
just
going to happen
unfortunate.
is if fans really do press for it. And even if we do
Even
really
then, I
press
don't
for
see
it,
them.
it might not happen. It might not happen, and the odds are it probably won't. It probably will go ahead. But I think with fans really saying their true opinions and pushing for it, there will be a higher chance of it not happening. Whether them
If
chances will still be low, but it will be
I think
higher.
I think the only way that this is that the only good outcome we can have is that the Premier League, if at the last if it's the last resort, then I think the Premier League should allow the big clubs to compete and just have it as an alternative to the Champions League. And it will still be annoying, but I think it will be less annoying than own like these big clubs go away and never play in the Premier League again.
This whole different side that we can
Yeah.
go into now. Obviously, so there was this whole thing started when the alternate version of the Champions League was introduced, and I remember me and you, Jack, were in a call when that happened, and we were like, "What the hell? That would be terrible." And
Yeah,
now
it's really
we're
weird.
looking at
They've
it
announced it
so
today,
much
haven't they?
worse. It looks so much worse. Like
Mm.
this thing is so much worse and so much more detrimental to football than that. And we were looking at that and thinking that would be catastrophic. It's catastrophic if that happens. That won't happen. And now we're looking at what we've got and
Yeah.
we're saying that this could actually happen now. And this isn't just a joke. This could be a big
Yeah.
change to football
Then
for
I think the new
generations.
Champions League format's supposed to be announced. I'll see if that's out yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean another quote. I think it was from it was one of the people in the higher parts of the hierarchy. Was it the owner of the UEFA?
UEFA
Chairman?
chairman
Chairman.
came out and
Yeah.
called them snakes and banned them from all
I think the
competitions that
exact
are
quote
UEFA.
was something like
Didn't
I was
realise we had
naive.
snakes working so close to us.
Yeah, he was quoted saying
And now we
basically
know.
that he was naive and that he didn't realize snakes was working so close to them, and even for the a company or an organization like UEFA of that size to come out and say something and call them snakes is like I think it just shows the size of this issue. And you obviously got football pundits there all having their say on Twitter and stuff. We would go through them, but there's just so many of them. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard them. The likes of Gary Lineker was one of the first to get involved when this originally came out on Twitter. And
He's
since
quite
then,
active, isn't
all
he,
the
on
pundits,
Twitter?
all the pundits have followed after. With 99%. In fact, I've not seen a single pundit say this is good for football. I've heard them, some people say a good point about it, but no one has said that this will be a good thing. There are some good points, but it is very limited, and it's very much outweighed by the negatives of this new format in just world football in general. The whole, it's just so strange. It just seems like they've written down a plan. They've had like 2 hours, let's say. They've given them 2 hours. It's obviously more than that, but it's almost like they've been given a group project for 2 hours and it's not quite finished yet, but they're still going to try and make it happen. There's just so many different loopholes and things that doesn't make sense in it. And if they were to fix them up, don't get me wrong, it still wouldn't be amazing, but it would be better than what it is at the moment. And you'd like to think if we do go ahead with it, and it does happen, that they would fix up them things. And we just think, why? What's that? How is that going to be good for football?
I think it would be fine if it was just a Champions League alternative, but considering that they've been banned from domestic competitions, it makes it so much worse.
That is the thing that is the hard-hitting news, really. The fact that the Premier League, I mean, the Premier League came out and made a statement today, or it might have been last night, saying that if you do not walk away from this soon, we will ban you, and that they have no fear in saying that.
There'll be serious consequences.
There will be serious consequences. It wasn't bad. Ban wasn't wasn't the word that he used. I think it was there will be serious consequences.
Could be moving them down leagues.
Yeah,
and discuss like moving them straight down to the bottom of English football, like 9th division and stuff, which I think would be mental.
That would be mental. Imagine like you've got #United versus the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. Mental. It would be insane. I was gonna get into something there. I've just got to quickly. I've got to do the thing again, Jack. You've got to go and waffle while I remember what I was gonna say. Here we go.
Well, I've just found the Champions League format, so I guess we can bring that up while you're thinking of what you're going to say. Has now, they've announced that in 2024-25 season they will have the new format of 36 teams, which we haven't actually discussed on the channel before. But basically, they will, instead of the group stages, they'll just have a giant league where everyone will play 10 games, and the people who finish highest in the league go through to the knockout stages. So it means more Champions League games.
Yeah.
And 4 new teams.
Yeah. I think the thing that I was going to say was basically along the lines of the... moving on. I was going to try and think of something there. But yeah, I think my main point was just going to be that the Premier League have come out and said that they're not afraid to just basically say you can't come back here. And the worry is that this is what I was going to say. The worry is that it's such a new thing that, as I was saying earlier, it feels like it's just been created in such a short amount of time as a rush project. For it to be used for so many years, it just seems so. And the worry is, and I've not seen many people say this, and I'm not sure that the likeliness of it happening is very low. But if for some reason it was really to go terribly, and it was for some reason to fold entirely, what happens then? Then you have got the likes of the Premier League teams being put down in a really low division, and it's a mess.
Oh, they won't be a club, will they? They won't have anywhere. They'll be a football club, but won't have a league.
Where would they go? Yeah, I imagine wouldn't they then go and be put in that lower division, or would that just be?
I think they would. Similar to how Rangers, when they had that whole scandal, didn't they, back in like 2010 kind of time, where they basically got knocked down to like the 4th tier of Scottish football. I think a similar thing will happen to the Prem clubs, but it'll be a lot worse in that they'll be in like the 9th division, meaning they'll be so far off.
The worry is the financial aspect, like, because for smaller teams, like $1 million would be mental amounts of money in such a low league, whereas for a big side, $1 million is nothing. It's pennies. And that would be the real worry there. Financially, some teams wouldn't be able to hold on, and they would like the teams themselves might fold in, and then you've got a real
I
thing.
think they'll be
'Cause you've
fine
got
because of this JP Morgan
yeah,
backing.
that is true.
Like
That
they've
is
said
true.
that they'll be paying those big fees to keep
I think they
clubs
would be
afloat
fine, but it
for
would be a
years.
shock to the system. And
I think another
also,
thing that
if you're yeah,
I haven't seen brought up much yet is those clubs that go up into the Super League and then come back to the Premier League. How much of an advantage they'll have is mental. If they're getting
yeah,
paid 3.5 billion as soon as they'll
they
get
get
500k
3.5
just for
billion.
accepting. Sorry, 500 mil just for accepting, and they get the payment like a payment package on top of that. I mean, they'll go back and have like £4 billion to work with.
And
That
then
sounds
you
mental
look at
compared to the other
the
Prem
likes
teams.
of West Ham and Aston Villa will be going up into them leagues, walking away with £4 billion. Thank you very much. Look who
Yeah,
we've bought. Like it
yeah.
will be,
But
and once
that's the
again,
thing,
it would
though.
be
I
making
think it would be
a
incredibly
yeah.
hard to then win a title if you've got a team in there that's got
Yeah,
£4 billion.
and then that's a similar type of story to the idea of it would be making that club the richest probably in that league because they've won that season. They're going to get more money. They're going to come back and they're going to have so much of an advantage, and that they'll probably carry on winning for a few years. Like it's
That's
just
why they would accept it. Like I've seen people say, "Oh, well, surely they'd reject it." I think £4 billion just to play
that's
a
a
year in
lot of
this Super
money.
League,
That is a
then
lot of
they get
money.
kicked out at the end. Yeah,
At the end
you
of the
get a
day,
bad year
money,
of
yeah,
football, but
but money is
for 4 bill,
money
yeah, I don't.
has a big say over what you'll do in football. Let's face it, now more than ever, money has the biggest say in many ways. In just
Yeah,
football in general. And if let's face it, if they were to say right, here's 4 billion, come on play in this league, you'll still be playing football. It'll just be against top sides, and you'll probably lose most of them. They'll probably go,
oh
okay,
yeah,
we'll take the 4 billion, we'll come back, and we'll be winning titles back to back to back, and the whole
Mhm.
system of football would be an absolute mess. And this is why I keep going back to. It just feels like an unfinished project that's just so. It just
Yeah,
doesn't feel like we could be playing
yeah.
this for years upon years. It doesn't feel like
It
something that's
feels like
sustainable.
there is a way that it goes wrong, but I don't know. With the amount of money people are willing to invest into it, it does seem like it. I don't think they're going to go. Oh, well, we can't play they can't play in the national games. Oh, we better cancel this then. It feels
Mm.
like this is like, oh,
The
this is
real
happening, and that's it.
everything's just going to revolve around it. And they at the end of the day they have the money, so they're the dictator here. If this means the end of, I don't know, so and so's league or something, I don't know, or a
I think
club.
the Champions League takes the biggest hit though,
Yeah,
because
because that
their
is
whole
yeah.
thing is pitting the greatest teams against each other. And if all the greatest teams have gone, and
Then
I mean
what do you
that's why
do?
UEFA are so angry, because their whole Champions League is gone now.
Mm.
Like the whole point of it is just it's nothing. And I think that the Premier League will still continue and it maybe even improve. The Champions League
Mm.
will definitely struggle and will definitely be a worse
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah, we are slowly but surely approaching that half an hour mark. Obviously, there's so many things to discuss with this, and we'll probably make more videos in the future as things develop and more news arises. But can you think of anything, anything else that you'd like to mention in this first video of what will probably become a good 5 video thing? As times
No.
develop, there'll be so much more news that I genuinely
Yeah.
think. We're recording this on Monday. We're assuming that this will probably come out on a Monday, but
Yeah.
tomorrow there'll probably be so much more news than today. It's going to be a constantly developing thing. But what would
As
you?
soon as we post this,
Yeah, there
between
might be.
now between
There might
recording and
there
posting, there will be
yeah
something coming.
there might be massive news that we haven't discussed, and if so, this is why we are currently recording this at 5:06 p.m. BST on a Monday. So if we've missed anything out that's new news, then that's probably why. But yeah, Jack, is there anything else you'd like to mention in this first video?
I think we should. I mean, we can touch briefly on German football and the brilliant model. I think we might do a bigger video into that, looking at how. But the
Yeah.
whole reason German football is, I mean, has this 51-49 share where the fans own 51% of the 51% stake in the club is to stop stuff like this happening, and it's brilliant. It's a brilliant model that the Prem should use.
And if they were to be
It's
using it,
brilliant.
then this whole thing wouldn't be happening.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be a problem. They couldn't go anywhere. The fans would ultimately make the final decision whether they were going to join this Super League, and it wouldn't just be the greedy billionaire owners. I think the Prem have to take responsibility for this happening. I mean, clearly they haven't done enough to stop.
They didn't
being
have
able just to leave
they
the
didn't
Premier
have the
League.
laws and rules in place to prevent something like this happening. If you think about it, if you look at it from this kind of perspective, it was something waiting to happen, that some big company would be investing ridiculous amounts of money and basically just steal.
It seemed unfathomable, though. It didn't seem that it would always be a pipe dream. Since the 90s, they've been talking about it. Never seemed possible.
Yeah.
And yet
Who
now,
was it that predicted it?
Someone's just gone, you know what, we'll do it.
Was it Arsene Wenger, I think, that predicted this? He said in 2009, in 10 years' time, a Super League could be possible. And obviously, this is 2 years after 2019. But the point still stands. And also, another thing worth mentioning is after the COVID pandemic, so many clubs are struggling financially. And this is another reason why they've thought it's a perfect time to capitalise.
Well, yeah. The clubs are desperate. Teams like Barcelona, heavy in debt, especially after the pandemic. They rely heavily on their fan revenue and ticket sales, stuff like that. So they've had they've taken a big hit
because of COVID.
Oh, yeah, precisely.
So the
pandemic
has had such a big hit on every single club, some more than others, though. Obviously, a side like Man City hasn't really been hit anywhere near as bad as a side like Barcelona. But there are lots of sides, and they're probably, that is, as we've said before, that's the main reason that a lot of clubs have taken this. It is the money, and it brings us back to the fact that we were saying right at the start, money overall that controls football. Money controls football. There's so much money in football now that while football will be football and everything, there is money, and money will dictate. Money will be the dictator of it.
Yeah, I think one more thing we could mention is the clubs that will still join. I think PSG are pretty much guaranteed this. There's nothing. They haven't denied it's a thing. They're one of the main clubs linked, and they haven't denied it. Same with Leipzig, because they are the only German side without the 51 and 49.
It's another thing
because they weren't a top tier club for very long.
Yeah, they're a new club.
So Leipzig, I think they could join. They haven't denied it.
It's
PSG look likely.
It's another thing that you want to keep updated on.
And so have Dortmund and Bayern.
One thing we'll say, you know what we'll say, Mr. Jazzer11? For those who do not follow us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, the Football Chat. It'll be probably linked down in the description. We'll probably be keeping you updated on the whole thing, because we can't be releasing videos like 24/7. 2-minute videos saying this person's done this and this club's done that. But keep updated on the Instagram. Keep updated if you don't have Instagram, for instance, obviously Twitter and stuff, you can keep updated via Sky Sports. There are other Twitter accounts available though for that. But I'd say just keep your eyes peeled as a football fan, and keep updated with it all, because there will be multiple things changing. But as I said, when we upload this video, PSG might have said, yeah, we'll do this, and signed up to it.
Joined.
Yeah, they might have joined.
Then we'll probably make a video on it tomorrow.
Yeah. So keep your eyes peeled. Is there any other thing? Have you finished with the point you were bringing up?
I think there's still points to make, but I think that's enough for today's video. We'll probably milk a few more videos out of this.
Yeah, we gotta it's like there's many bad things about this, but the one thing that's good is that it is gonna bring YouTube content. So stay updated. Please do, if you did enjoy this video, hit the like button, subscribe with the notification bell turned on so you do not miss out on our updates. Yes, we're nearing 100 subs on this channel now, the TFC YouTube channel, so please do hit the sub button. Please do hit the sub button if you did enjoy. And as I said, notification bell to get notified every single time we upload. We even have a Discord linked in the description down below.
Check out the website
TFC
as
Discord.
well.
Yeah, there's so many things to plug.
I'll be putting articles down there every day, probably about the European Super League. So
yeah, the Football Chat.
Updated, that is another way.
Thefootballchat.com. There'll be obviously articles posted on there. Is it daily?
Yeah, pretty much daily.
Pretty much daily, isn't it? Yeah.
No, I take weekends off usually, but yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much daily articles. So if you're into, reading all about the updates in more detail, make sure to go...
reading.
Or not into reading, no, because no, that I like the footballchat.com and I'm not really into reading, so it's a website for everyone, all inclusive, guys. But yeah, on a serious note, check out the footballchat.com, join the Discord, where you could also get notified every time we upload, and you can obviously continue the discussion on the Discord there.
Yes.
But yeah, except from that, thank you for watching today's video, guys. I know it's been a bit of a ranty one. Normally when there's a rant, it's one of the two of us ranting, whereas this time it's both of us actually agreeing for once. But on a serious note,
yeah, that's the one thing I'd say is football Twitter at the moment. Everyone is friends.
It has brought us all together. That is true.
Idea.
We all collectively hate the European Super League. All my homies hate the European Super League. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching today's video. It really does mean a lot and really helps out the channel. Quickly friendly reminder to leave the like button and leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you really enjoyed just me, but if you do, please, if you're feeling extra nice, please go check out the GM19 YouTube channel. Maybe linked in the description. Jack may remove it from the description. Either way, GM19 on YouTube. That's where that's where I do my own content on there. And you might not enjoy it, but, you know, if you could check it out, that really would help me out. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in to another TFC video today. Keep updated, keep your eyes peeled, because this is going to be a big couple of weeks for world football. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Or month. Yeah, or month. Goodbye.
Bye.